Now let's work through some examples of research methodologies that we can encounter through our coding. In our first article, we have family theory versus the theories families live by. And when we come and code these methodologies, EBSCO will have a methodology field that is included in some of the article listings. For our main article, we're coding through these videos. EBSCO says it's an empirical study and a quantitative study. Sometimes it'll just say an empirical study. Another good place to look for information is in the title, but ultimately we want to look in the method section or look for a lack of a method section. So for the family theory article, if we scroll through, we can see the different headers that break down the research. We can see some block quotes, looks like they're citing something. No statistics, doesn't look like there's ever been a method section, no results section, and then finally a conclusion. So conceptual articles will work like this. They'll just read straight through without any explanations of collecting data because they aren't collecting anything. And here you can see the note, which is a paper that was presented. So this is purely a theoretical discussion of family theory. So we'd code that as a conceptual article below. A case study can technically has a sample of a very small group or even one person, but it will be considered a conceptual article because it is looking to further the direction or guide future research in an area. A literature review will be the same way, but it will include more citations. It will be a collection of information about a specific topic or research question. Next, we have our main article we're coding. As we saw, EBSCO said it was quantitative. So we will always want to look at the method section, even if it seems obvious from the title or the methodology field that EBSCO has provided. So we scroll down through the method section. It describes our sample collection, and then it describes the measures that are used. So we know that it is collecting data. Here in this paragraph, it describes that there is an online survey that was used. Here we see some tables of statistical information. This lets us know that it is a quantitative study, as these tables refer directly to a statistical analysis of data that was collected. It is not a citation of another study. So for this article, we can safely conclude that it is a quantitative article. Next is redressing inequity in parent care among siblings. Down in the methodology field, we only know that it's empirical from EBSCO. So we are going to want to scroll down to the method section. Here we see they have a focus group sample. That will almost always be a qualitative method of data collection, as they are collecting transcripts and general notes about participant responses of what was said. And they aren't collecting anything specific to numbers, although they can collect some demographic information and possibly do an analysis on that, which might make it mixed methods. But as we scroll down and look at the analysis and results, we see that a qualitative analysis is conducted to identify themes that emerge from their data collection from the focus group transcripts. And here we see block quotes with no citation, which indicates that they are quoting things that research participants have said. And we see a couple more of those. So these block quotes will be a pretty easy giveaway for a qualitative article as well. So we would code that one as a 3 qualitative. And then mixed methods would be any study that used a qualitative and a qualitative method, or one or more of both. Next is an example of a meta-analysis. We have non-residence fathers and children's well-being. So PsycInfo says specifically it's a meta-analysis. And if we were to come down and look through the method section, it says method selection of studies. So that's indicating that per se their sample would be other studies. And this is how they decided on choosing which studies to put into their meta-analysis. All the data has to be recoded so that's all comparable. It says they used 63 studies between 1970 and 1998 and then performed an analysis of those. You can see that analysis was statistical by all the numbers, confidence intervals and so forth that are throughout. And finally a table, other tables. So that one will be coded as a meta-analysis. And finally we have an article about search engine ranking. So after pulling that up, so right here, there's conveniently a summary of the method section in the abstract. It says they're looking at web pages and does not mention anything about a human or a living sample. This would be coded as a non-living sample despite any quantitative or qualitative analyses. As for this research project, we are only looking at studies that deal with human samples.